power. Ashe, ashe, ashe. There was a little notice up there. They always do that. And I've learned that whenever they put a whole note on Facebook, on YouTube, and I'm reading it, you guys can't see the notice that they send me as a comment, content maker. You guys can't see the notices that I'm reading, but you can just see me reading. So I exit up out of that. Hope it wasn't anything important they were trying to tell me. Anyhow, welcome to a moment of harmony. Another Saturday that we're getting it in, our healing, our living, our loving. I am out of town, as you all can tell. So I'm a little bit late because I'm an hour behind Maryland time. So I'm sitting here, got my alarm set to get myself all together for my moment, and it's not the same time you guys, not the same 10 o'clock for you guys this time, but it's okay. I know the majority of my exchangers and supporters watch the moments throughout the week anyway. They're playback. So I know this won't affect many of you. But for those of you that are tuned in today and that did tune in at 10 o'clock your time, which just so happened to be 9 o'clock where I was or where I am, so sorry, but we're here. We're gonna have a great moment. We're having a moment of relaxation, revitalization. I'm just, okay, relieving ourselves and reliving ourselves every day. Reliving our triumphs, reliving our greatest parts of ourselves, reliving our dreams within ourselves, reliving and realizing we're here for it. Welcome to another Moment of Harmony. We are in a declaration series. Today's healing session is entitled I declare respect in recovery, or of recovery. I declare respect of recovery. Many apologies. And today's session, so last session we talked all about closure, and just, how healing, how divine, how necessary closure is. That was our last declaration series. And there were so many questions that came to me about closure and why. We talked a lot about why it was important. And there were some people that poured out to me their personal issues and their personal stories and experiences, with barriers with closure, the qualms with closure, and of course many misunderstandings like we always have about the qualities, the characteristics of life. And so I was so happy to come in and do this session today on recovery, because closure is one part of having traumatic experiences, going from one level to the next. But recovery is a whole different process, and I think that we're just like a little bit putting them together, thinking that we might not need closure from things that are that may be painful for us. And we talked about that. So I don't even go, if you weren't able to see last week's moment, definitely check it out on YouTube. All the videos are available. All of the healing sessions are available. We even have some back from my Facebook days. We started out with an affirmation series. We did a matter of moment series. We're currently in a declaration series. We'll be moving next. We also did a praise break the whole month of January, and we'll be moving next into a reflection series. So we're just growing and growing and going and glowing with this thing. So the healing never stops, because you never stop. You never stop growing. You never stop being your best self. You never stop becoming. And therefore, we'll always, as long as the Creator allows, have a platform for healing, growing virtually here on this YouTube platform, as well as in person when I do in-person moments for those that live in Baltimore, the DMV area, workshops that we do around growing and healing and loving. And as the Creator see fit for this platform to grow, for us to be able to reach the masses on loving, living, healing, rejuvenating ourselves. So again, thank you for showing up today, and thank you for checking in on this moment. Whenever the Creator blesses you with a moment, it is a sacred moment. And whenever the Creator presents this moment to you, comes across your timeline, you get a reminder, someone shares it to you, whatever, it's a moment just for you. It's a moment just for you. So I declare respect of recovery. I declare respect of recovery. I have become such a fan of recovery. I've become such a fan, you already know, an extreme advocate of healing and love and life. Um, and oh, you know what? I want to give a quick shout out to Inyame. I didn't do any of my shout outs this morning. One of the young brothers from the community that I grew and learned in is yeah, I think he's like 10 years old, and my son almost the same age, and I know Kingdom is 9. And he is doing a book signing today at TNAC. For those that are all familiar with that community, if you have no idea what I'm talking about, thank you for your patience. But TNAC is another organization, Temple of New African Thought, is another organization also here in Baltimore City. Well, I'm not here right now in Baltimore City, but where I dwell, where we are, where I build and organize. And they are doing a book signing for this young brother who's only 10 years old with his third book out. So shout out to Inyame. I watched Inyame grow up. Love him. Absolutely in love with his family. His father is was who I learned at the feet of. So great love to you, Inyame. Giving you many blessings. My mommy loves you. The family loves you. We're wishing you well. Back to our moment. So I've become such a huge fan of recovery, an extreme advocate for healing and growth and becoming, but a huge, huge fan of getting yourself together, why it is important, why it is vital, and why it's inevitable. Why you are inevitably going to be having to get yourself back into a good place over and over and over again throughout your whole life. Not meaning that you'll be constantly in bad places, but you will be challenged in growth if you're living life the right way. So I wanted to come on and talk about the recovery process, how beautiful it is, how necessary it is, how divine it is, and how we should have respect for recovery. Now, when it comes to recovering, of course, y'all know I've broken this session up into three portions: acknowledging, accepting, and we just are, we're growing out of that, just acknowledging what we need recovery for. Acknowledging what is actually going on with us in our lives, very honestly, candidly, spiritually. Accepting those truths about ourselves and the people around us and our experiencing, and just being able to accelerate ourselves forward, appreciate. So acknowledge, accept, appreciate. Being able to appreciate the process. A lot of times we say, stick in there, honor the process. Honoring is, yes, wonderful. Honoring our processes, but I want to add in appreciating the process. How you get where you're going is equally as important as where you're going. As a matter of fact, it is equally as vital. It is the assurance that you're going to get where you need to be. So I can have my destination in mind, but the only solid confirmer, the affirmation that I'm going to get there, is how I get there, how I manage, how I show up, how I arrive dictates that I arrive. How I arrive dictates even that I arrive. So I want us to really get into that recovery point today. Acknowledge, accept, appreciate. Acknowledge, accept, and appreciate the recovery. This is having respect for recovery, respecting your process, respecting when you are recovering. Now, there are tons of things we have to recover from. A lot of people want to think that recovery is only related to like injury, illness, and just extreme damage. Damage is subtle. Damage happens. If you were to go for a jog right now, whether you're a regular athlete or you are just getting up and you have been immobile for a very long time and you're just getting up to go run around. If you were to go to jog for right now, there's damage happening to your knees, your ankles, tears in your muscles, which are good. We want those. But damage, right there, subtle, small damage. When you come back from that jog, you're gonna need to take a shower. You may need some rest later because of what you've done to your, putting your systems in motion, getting your muscles and your muscular system and getting your respiratory system and getting everything all involved, right? And recovery may be subtle, and the recovery helps you to become stronger and better. It helps you to recover. Recovery means to go back and get what was lost. It's like Sankofa. Recovery. Go back and get what you, to recover something. Is so vital when it comes to healing. It is so extremely important when it comes to gaining and growing. I cannot be stripped, broken down, damaged, and then just keep it moving. In order for me to be better, like it was intended, like this challenge or this trial or this situation was intended, it was only intended, remember, for soul conditioning, to get us where we have to go, to get us to our highest level of self. And that means that there's going to be plenty of mountain I'm going to have to climb, and I'm going to need nourishment to be replenished. What I lost, my strength, my energy, my electrolytes, I need nourishment. We climb a mountain, we need food, we need water, we need rest. All of these things are recovery. And we don't know that we're using recovery to literally survive. I'm not gonna say we don't know, but we don't put attention to the fact that we're using recovery literally to survive every day. Every time you're eating, you're recovering calories, or you're recovering energy and things that you may have lost working, moving, running, being. The more you are active, the more you eat, the more hungry you are. The more you are in the sun, the thirsty you are, the more hydration you require. Recovery is a natural. We are recovering all day long. Time away from our families, time away from ourselves and things that are important to us. Giving of ourselves spiritually, emotionally, having discipline and focus, making sacrifices, which is natural and normal for growth and development. That's maturity. Sacrifice. Well, if I sacrifice things, that means that I give things, which means that I'll need to imbalance. I am a woman of my heart. We will need balance. We will need to recover. We will need to bring back into play. So please understand that recovery is something we're doing all the time on different levels. Again, if you're athletic and you go for a jog, your recovery may be something just like water at the end of your run. It may just be a yoga or stretch at the end of your run for your muscles and bones that did receive a little bit of shock trauma, a little bit of shock damage, shock absorption. And that might be your recovery. If you haven't ran in a long time, your recovery may be, great pain, heating pads, ice, rest. Anytime you go through conflict, which is growth, which is challenge, which is literally parenthood, marriage, growth, and becoming a student, vocation, anything that's going to require you to become a better version of yourself, another level of yourself, you're going to need to recover from it. Long nights of restless nights of no sleep, up studying all night, up doing research, or even worrying, that is going to require recovery. Being in relationships that are growing and healing from trauma and pain, the arguing, the doubt, the distrust, and all that goes through that, the sadness, the emotions, and the range of emotions in relationship, it requires recovery. You've carried a child in your body, then you fed that child with your body, and you've loved that child, you've given yourself relentlessly, endlessly to your children, to your family. Recovery. And we don't have a respect for recovery. In this capitalistic society where being human is a commodity, humanity is a resource, capitalism, everything is a coin, everything is commerce. You are commerce. You are not a spirit with a heart and soul and a being who requires respect and light love um, and connection. They isolate you, overwork you, discriminate, destruction. These things happen to us on a regular basis, and we're only recovering if we go to on vacation, if we can afford it, if we go to church or any type of spiritual religious practice we may be doing once a week. Recovery is necessary. You cannot eat once a week. You cannot drink once a week. You cannot, you should not, but as far as, yoga and the things that bring you health and vitality, these are regular routine practices. Recovery should be respected and honored. In a society where they want you to be cattle, and some of us literally come from ancestors that were turned into cattle, turned into, again, commerce, a resource, treated in that way, which is in our DNA, into some, amongst other wonderful things that are also a part of our DNA, great and grand things that are part of our history, but also we cannot negate the trauma that is also a part of who we are here, and our experiences and what was passed down to us by us being treated inhumanely. And we must recover. We must recover. We must go back and gain strength, revitalization. But in this society, it's like the more you produce, the better you are. And we have become factories. We aren't people, we're factories. We are producers. When really, in essence, naturally, we are creators. I am not a producer, I create. But if I know I'm a creator and if I'm allowed to be a creator, then things like oppression and capitalism and these things, superiority versus inferiority, and all these things wouldn't be in place if I understand my powers and my beauty and my obligation to myself as a creator. Understand and respect your obligation. As a creator, you make great and wonderful things, energy, thoughts, creations on a regular basis. And you need to recover from the work of that. In this society, we're taught work, work, work until you drop, work in conditions that will kill you, compromise your spirit and your sanity and your truth, and you constantly produce. Give, 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 give. Not retrieve, 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 or even imbalance of giving and retrieving, giving and receiving. So in this society, we're taught that if you need recovery, you're weak. You're weak. You're weak to need time, rest. You're weak to need peace, calm. You're weak to need things to move slow, things to be chilled out. You're weak to need quiet, reflection, communication with self, rebuilding and replenishing of things. You are looked at as if you don't have, you can't do. You're not horrible, inhumane, destructive, counterproductive mindset. That is a counterproductive way of imagining, being, doing life. I am a creator, not a producer. Therefore, as a creator, I need to recover because of what it takes out of me. So when we have these thoughts that if I must be on my last leg to recover. I must be weak to need recovery, to need a moment. Something must be wrong with me. No, you are a creator. For those that are into the Bible and the readings and works of the Bible, there are on the peace, my love. Thank you for joining me. I was just explaining that I'm out of town and my 10 o'clock where I am was not the same 10 o'clock there. So bear with me, but it's a joy always to see you, Mama Yatali, and have you present. But saying that we're talking about recovery and the importance of it, but being at a point where we feel like in order to recover, you must be weak. In order to Again, as a creator and not a producer, but as a creator, the more I create, the more that I do, the more that I sacrifice, I respect the need to recover. I respect others' needs to recover. I honor recovery from my process, recovering from all that I've downloaded, uploaded, all that I am creating, all that I am doing. And I would go as far as to say that the need of recovery really dictates the amount of work it makes you stronger. It really indicates how much you're putting out. And someone that's not doing anything doesn't need to recover from doing nothing. But those of us that are on a constant mission and move towards bettering ourselves and everything around us and building and creating constantly, constantly making life, constantly contributing to civilization, we are someone that is going to need recovery. We are going to honor and respect it. I respect my recovery process. I don't care what I've gone through. It doesn't have to be a surgery. It doesn't have to be a car accident. It doesn't have to be something catastrophic. And even if it was something catastrophic, then especially honor. I'm sorry, that was a call that came in. Y'all know what that does to my, it glitches me up. I'm gonna give it just a second to make sure that my audio and my track is back on when the calls come in like that. But definitely being at a place where I'm honoring and respecting my need and my process of recovery of what I've put out and what I need. And again, if you've gone through catastrophic circumstances, of course, honor that you are where you are. You got the divorce, grieving death, trauma, pain, health issues, issues with your family, traumatic experience, especially honor your recovery. But even if you've gone to work all week and you've given of yourself and you've compromised pieces of your sanity and of your being in order to acclimate to a capitalistic society, an immoral society, in order to cope, recover. Recover the spiritual parts of yourself that were damaged in disrespect. Recover the spiritual parts of yourself that were damaged in neglect. The spiritual or the physical parts of yourself that were damaged in this rat race. You know, up early, up late, living off of energy drinks and coffee and processed food and stress. Recover. Recover what you're you're losing or have lost in those moments, in that time. Recovery is vital. So I'm going to break down these three parts. This won't be a very long moment at all. Like I said, I am out of town. So we have so much that we need to take care of where we are today. So we are going to the three parts. When it comes to recovery and respecting, I declare respect of recovery. I declare respect of recovery. That again, that pertains to my recovery or anyone else's recovery. Someone around me is recovering. I'm going to honor and respect that. So, recovery, three components that we broke down: acknowledge, accept, appreciate. We acknowledge recovery by being honest about what our needs are. I am acknowledging when I'm running low, when I can't remember things, when I am stressed out, when I'm exhibiting behaviors of depression or sadness, when I'm not feeling like myself, when I know that things aren't right, when I can't get a grasp on my joy and those endorphins that make me feel joyful, when I am lacking in pride and perspective, I have to acknowledge that there's something I need to recover. Recovery is necessary. I don't need a hospital bracelet. I don't need a doctor or a psychologist diagnosis. I don't need an intervention. This is a spiritually responsible, right? I don't need even an intervention before I get to the point where I can feel within self that I have given, I have expressed more than I've taken in, more than I've embodied, and there's an imbalance and I need to recover. This was a crazy week at work. We've had a rough patch in the relationship. My kid is going this, my child is going through this and going through that. My friendship is going through this. My sisterhood is going. I've been taking care of this project. Or I've been working on this issue, and I am spent. I am frazzled. I am burnt out at all ends. In that, I say, I acknowledge. I acknowledge that I need to recover. And I acknowledge that recovery is vital to my victory. Excuse me, it's vital to me being in where and who I need to be. So I acknowledge that. I am not in denial about it. I don't feel weak about it. I don't feel strange about it. I feel responsible. I feel powerful. I feel loving of myself to say, so many times throughout the week with the children, I'd be like, too much. I can take this hitting and the snitching and the telling and the begging and the demands. And then I very much know when I've reached my limit of that within self and I'm at the point of like, I need a day. I need to go watch a movie. I need to go read this book. I need to go to this workshop. I need to go hear this lecture. I need to go hear this sermon. I need to just go put some candles in the bathroom, cut the sermon on, close and lock the door. I know when I need to recover. I don't diminish it. I don't allow others to diminish my need for recovery. You have so many people like, what you do? Oh, I'm going to tell you my need for recovery. I'm telling you this is what I need to heal from, take care of. That ain't nothing. Let me tell you what I'm dealing with. Respect my recovery. And I respect my recovery by not allowing it to be diminished, not broadcasting it to the world so that it can be compromised, but really just being cognizant. This week, I'm not watching this on any TV shows. Or this week, I'm not going to be around this certain individual or individuals. This week, I'm answering the phone less. Or I'm not going on social media as much. Or I'm acknowledging my need for recovery. I'm going to bump up my journal writing. Go to this extra activity that will help with my spiritual rejuvenation. Reach out to my spiritual providers or advisors and get some. I'm acknowledging my need for recovery. I need to recover my sanity, my peace, my energy, my zeal, my vibrancy. It's been compromised in some way, somehow, and I do need, desire, want to recover it. Acknowledging its need and its importance will be incredible in moving us towards the respecting of it. I want to respect my recovery and my process. How do I respect that? There's so many people that want to expedite recovery. Be over it. The circumstance is over. I don't want to talk about it. I don't want to deal with it. Excuse me, that's figuratively as well as literally, mentally, emotionally. I don't know what is getting stuck in my mouth. Sorry, guys. Mommy mercy. But getting to the point where it's like, I'm over it. I went through it and I don't want to deal with it anymore. That's not respecting your recovery. Respect your recovery. Physical recoveries. Y'all know I'm a doula. I love pregnant women. They're some of my favorite people. And working with them and being with them during and post pregnancy. Respecting their recovery process. You got women 6 months in, they want to look the way they want to be in jeans, they want to be hanging out. And respect your recovery. It's valuable. You're only hurting yourself when you invalidate your own need for recovery. Others may not respect it. We still are fighting for maternity leave and women's rights when it comes to giving life, labor and delivery and birth and parental. We're fighting for all of those. That's external. Right? That's them externally not acknowledging it. What I'm talking about, you acknowledging first what you've gone through, where you are, how hard you work to even be where you are, and giving yourself that honor in your recovery. The brothers growing up in harsh realities, growing up as a public enemy number one, growing up targeted, abused, stereotyped, discriminated upon. Even to this day, growing up in this environment, the harshness, the brutality of this place on you. Acknowledge your recovery, your need for it. No, I'm good. I'm good. No. I go to this church, or I go to this, mosque, this synagogue. I say this prayer. I do this practice. Acknowledge the damage. You don't have to acknowledge it to everyone. You don't have to say it out loud. I'm saying spiritually in your own work, within your own self, acknowledge. Acknowledge your need to recover your lost childhood, your hope and your faith in others, your trust in the consistency and the integrity of others. Go recover. You are in recovery. If you've lost your childhood, you were exposed to things that changed you, that stalled your growth, that tormented, demented, and just totally corrupted. That's the word I'm looking for. Corrupted your childhood and your mind, your thought process, and your abilities to connect, to have joy, to have peace, to have hope. These are real things. Acknowledge your need to recover. Acknowledge your need to recover. There are women that go through surgeries and they want to be back at work. There are, brothers that may have injuries in sports or whatever, get an injury, and right away, I can't be down for long. I got to make this money. I got to do. You do that, and sure enough, you'll be quick to see that your recovery was vital to your healing. It was vital to how you healed, and how you recovered, and how much you valued your recovery. I am guilty of that. I was workoutaholic in my youth. If I had an injury, I would work out through the injury. Was like no pain, no gain. No. No peace, no gain. No pain, no gain. No peace, no grace. No peace, no grace. That's my new motto. Anyone say no pain, no gain? I say no peace, no grace. No peace with myself. No peace with my body. No peace with my health. No peace with the universe. No peace with things around me. No grace on my life. No grace on my becoming. No grace on my victory. No. Peace is vital. Recovery gets you there. So I honor now my recovery process. Anything, like I said, I've been there. Things where I just like, I'm getting over this. I'm dealing with this. Pay for it in the long run. Now I honor. How long will it take me to recover? What am I going to be doing in the meantime? How am I going to get where I need to be? Acknowledge, accept the recovery process. Everyone's recovery process will look different. Again, a crazy week for me. I could possibly a good cardio workout, a good purge circle with my sisters, a good some coddling and cuddling from my king, bringing some love to my situation, and I could be in a good place come Monday. You know what? That week that drew me out and all the drama and all the craziness, I got a couple of things, spent some time with my family, got a good little nap. That was my process. But some of us will go to others and say, okay, well, how did you deal with the murder of your brother? Or how do you deal with, divorce? Or how do you deal with this pain or this reality or this situation you're in right now? And then we'll take that as our recovery process. Well, all I did, you have people that say, all I did was, I stopped going to work, or I took this month off, or I took a sabbatical, or I went to, like they talked about Will Smith, went to another country for 3 months. Who's doing that? Who can do that, right? Some people, not all. Does that mean your recovery is any less valid or valuable? Not at all. So understand that you have to accept your process and the means for your process and where your process, accept your recovery process for what it is. And you only get that from going to the Creator and receiving the guidance for what in the Creator will reveal to you. will reveal to you what's going to work for you. A sister may be getting ready for a wedding and say, oh, I lost 10 pounds and this is how I did it. And it's killing another person. She might not, and she might have went on this keto diet or this diet that didn't have this in it. And this sister could be more deficient. I'm anemic. Some of the things that don't work that work for other people would kill me, would really hurt me to take on some of the practices. There's been times where I wasn't able to complete fasts that I was on in the way that other people were doing it. So meaning that your fast might have been complete water, and I might have been able to do that for a couple of days. But again, my process is different. My recovery will be different. You may be fasting at home when yourself, you go to work, you come home, you lay in the bed, you read, you pray, you get up and start over. I am driving people all the way around, grocery stores, laundry, up and down. That means that the same way you're fasting, I may not be able to fast that way. I might need to add supplements, or I may need to add fruits, a shake to mine, where you might be on all water. But whatever it is, whatever my recovery process is, I accept it. This is the respect of recovery. I acknowledge it. I don't deny it. I don't diminish it. I don't allow others to diminish it. I uphold my need, my abilities to recover. I hold them in high regard. On top of that, I accept whatever my recovery process looks like. You might have your mate be like, we said, we going to the movies. We going for a run. We're going for it. It might not do anything for you. It might make things worse for you. That's not my recovery process. And I'm going to respect that what my process is, what gets me there. I'll honor it. I won't feel pressured. I won't be pushed into recovering in the way that others feel like I should be getting over it when people think I should be over it. Holding on to it when people think I should be holding on to it. If that's not where I am. But if you don't respect recovery, you will have disrespect, and unintentionally and subconsciously sometimes disrespect your recovery process. Not honoring yourself. Excuse me, something still. Not honoring your process. Not honoring where you are or what you need. Accept what your process is. Whatever is revealed to you. Whatever is going to work for you. Be unmoved. Be steady and strong on your respect of recovery. And again, recovery can be from many things. We have to recover from arguments. This is the brutality of this society and the system that we are part of, is that we don't even acknowledge all the times we need recovery. Again, it's constant. You have to recover after an argument. You've spent energy, you've spent emotion, peace. You've become angry, agitated, hyped up. It's a recovery process. Anyone gets tired after an argument? Look, as I get older, when I have a stressful situation, I've said this in the past, I can physically feel it. Literally an argument, verbally, I can feel the next day like I worked out or got into an argument a fight, a physical fight. A verbal altercation can feel physical to me now. Sore, literally sore, need a massage from arguing. Recovery, the need, damage is subtle, recovery must be intentional. Damage is subtle, recovery must be intentional. If you argue with someone, you must recover from that. Hundreds of thousands of reasons all day long why recovery is a flight. We got on a flight. Being on a flight, recover. I get in a room, I want to do my yoga. They have yoga guides or videos on YouTube that will walk you through jet flag yoga. Recover. Let my body that's been sitting in a position, or my body that's been up and moving and motion and carrying luggage, I need to recover. I want to come in and take a nap. Recovery. So I acknowledge and I accept. I acknowledge and I accept where I am and what I need. And I honor what I accept, I can honor. So respect That's how it's built. So we acknowledge, we appreciate recovery, and then finally we we acknowledge our recovery. I'm just going to do a real quick playback because I'm seeing in the chat. We acknowledged our recovery and our need for it. We accepted our recovery and the process that that is, whatever that looks like individually, and even sometimes as a group, as a family. I'll say collectively. You might be a part of a project at work, or you may be in an organization, or you may be a part of a church, or you may be as a family. It might just be husband, wife, and children, sisters or brothers. You all may need to accept what it is you're going to need to do as a family, what it is you're going to need to do as a unit. But you all will have to say, we need to recover from that. We talked about that, all the time. Giving many great things to the Creator. I'm starting a new position next week, and that's a part of my recovery right now, coming out of one position, going into the other, honoring my need for recovery, what I experienced, where I was, and just being in a place of you need to reset. But we talked about it all the time previously in our job. We had a big turnover rate, and we were just saying how unrealistic it was, how unnatural it was for us to have people that we builded with and connected with, and they just disappeared. And we didn't recover, and collectively we needed recovery of things like that. So acknowledge, accept, and then appreciate. We're going to go through appreciation, and we're going to wrap this moment up. But just being able to appreciate recovery. How many times have you battled on whether or not you'll take a nap as opposed to do what needs to be taken care of, right? In this society, like we talked about previously, you are production, you are commerce, you are capital, and they want you to produce when really you are a creator, not a producer. I'm a creator. How many times have you still been in that programming within your mind? I'm guilty of that all the time. I could lay down. I could watch this show that makes me laugh. I could cuddle with my honey. I could go and take a walk with my children. Me and my oldest daughter, we love walking, exercise. We love doing exercise. Like, we have that in common. And I could go do this with Love Boogie. We can go for this walk, or we can have this talk. Or I can be productive. I can produce. I can create. That's what I want us to think about from now on. When we get into those spaces, when we are deeming productivity over our recovery, over the things that we need more valuable, say, it's not about am I being productive always. Some of us going to be trying to get around that loophole. But sometimes it's, am I producing or am I creating? Am I producing or am I creating? And am I doing them in balance? Because yes, we do have things that we need to clean the house up. We need to finish this report for work. We need to cook dinner. We need to do the necessary. We're adults to adulting. We have to do these things. But am I also balancing it with my creative, with what I need to create the life that I need to have, the life that I am innately endowed with, that is rightfully, that I'm privileged as a human being human to have, as a being of light and a reflection of the Creator. So am I also balancing that? And in order to do that, I'm going to have to recover. I'm going to have to recover from the machine life in order to be present in the dream life. I'm going to have to recover from the machine life in order to be present in the dream life. Recovery, vital, 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 vital. So we must appreciate, that's the last part, appreciate that process. I appreciate my recovery process. I don't get down on myself. There was a time, super mom, I needed to be super mom. I needed to get everything on my list crossed off. I needed to, in order to feel good about my day, I had to not feel good inside myself. Meaning if I wasn't drugged out, laid out on the ground about it, I must didn't work hard enough. And it's like, no, I now appreciate what it is I have to go through. I appreciate the obligations of my life. I'm not pressured by them, or at least I try not to be pressured and overwhelmed by them. But I appreciate that they move me towards a recovery process. And if I have a day where I wake up and it says, hey, I'm off today, and I'm not squeezing every minute of productivity out this day, I'm going to use this whole day to just do some yoga, take a shower, go for a walk around the mall, call my girlfriend, cuddle my honey, watch a TV. I appreciate my recovery. And I appreciate what got me to this process. Y'all know I love Londrell. Londrell, like I said last week, he has a song called Sunflower Soul that says, you cannot love the flower and hate the rain. When I smell this flower and I love it and I acknowledge its beauty and its healing properties, I have to acknowledge what it took to get this flower. It needed time, it needed patience, it needed attention, sun, it needed resource, sun, light, water. I cannot just love the great parts of my life without appreciating what gets me to those parts. My need for recovery, as well as my actual action in recovery, has gotten me, moves me to the part. Remember, recover from the machine life in order to be present in the dream life. I have to appreciate that. I have to appreciate that, how it works, how it moves, how it is. And I have to honor it in order to have respect, because that's our declaration. I declare respect of recovery. I declare respect of recovery. I respect that. And I have to, like we just broke down today, I have to acknowledge, accept, and appreciate in order to have respect for recovery. My recovery, as well as the recovery of others, and as well as the collective recovery when we're recovering from things as a unit, as a collective. So the next time, with all these declarations that we put in over our year, to have the most extraordinary year, the incredible turnover that we need, the growth out of our lessons, the grasping, the understanding of our blessings, in order to get to those places, we are going through these declarations. And when you get into those places, hey, you know you don't feel good and you don't need to go to work and someone is pressuring you. Nope. You know that you've experienced something traumatic and you need a moment. You know you need to recover and you are feeling guilty about it. Someone else is deterring you or determining for you or making you feel. I declare respect of recovery. You know what? I want to, you just had this baby. I want to get up and I want to run around. Like I said to the brothers that have had damaging childhoods and traumatic experiences with being here in this place, trying to be and be here, which seems like an oxymoron for us here, right? To be and be here. How are we going to do both? Those that have acknowledge, respect your recovery. Respect. I have the right to, go if I need time to journal, if I need time away, if I need time in retreat, if I'm not ready for this relationship, if I'm not ready to take on this job or this responsibility, I respect recovery. I want to have this conversation with you right now. I'm dealing with, I personally am not ready for this conversation. No, we're going to have this conversation right now about this. I respect recovery. I declare respect of recovery. I respect my recovery process. I declare respect of my need and my divine ability and right to get right. I respect and honor my right to get right. I have a right. I have a divine right, to be all right. And I respect every time I need to say that to myself, in pressure, in pain, in trauma, in stress, in being overwhelmed. I'm not in the place where I'm going to deal with this, or I'm going to take this space, or I'm going to take this activity, or I'm going to adopt this perspective or mindset, because I respect recovery. I declare respect of recovery. And that goes again. We have loved ones that have gone through. You went through the same thing I went through. You raised in the same house I was raised in. Same mother, same father, same circumstance. What happened to you happened to me. I'm over it. I'm good. I respect. I declare respect of recovery. I respect the way you recover. I respect your process. I want you to deal with it. I'm tired of my sister or my mom or my cousin or my husband. I'm tired of them being caught up on this. Respect their recovery. Well, every week she has to go and she goes into this writing, or every week she goes into this, she doesn't answer the phone all day on Sundays. Respect recovery. Respect your own, honor it, respect others, because it is a vital part of our healing and our growing. I declare respect of recovery. Excuse me. We have many parts of our lives that won't. A lot of corporate energies and environments don't respect it. Get back to work right away. Get over it right away. Ignore it. Don't acknowledge it right. Deal with it. Eat it, suck it up, chin up. It's non-productive. I'm not a producer, I'm a creator. I'm not a producer, I'm a creator. And in my ability to create, like they say in the Bible. And you know what? I don't even think I finished that thought about the Bible. But they say on the seventh day, God rests on the seventh day, right? And he created the whole world, and then he rests on the seventh day. Honor recovery. Honor. You are creating life. You are creating greatness daily, from moment to moment. By the second, honor it. Honor it. Honor and respect recovery. It's recover. It's okay to recover. I have the right to get right. I love you all so much. I'm so happy that you all shared this moment with me. Even though, like I said, we had different time frame, but I know many of you will watch this on your own time and it won't even matter at all. I love you all so much. I hope you have a great rest of your week, and I'll see you next Saturday for another Moment of Harmony.